I'm here with Adam from Wine Selectors, and we've got a really gorgeous lamb dish for you today. It's quite versatile, so we're going to be doing it in a pan, but you could do it at your barbecue at home or in the oven even. And I think that you've got some treats for us that are going to complement this quite nicely.
I do. I've got 2 red wines from an area in Victoria called Rutherglen.
Beautiful, that's where our lamb is from too.
Perfect. What grows together goes together.
So the wines that you've brought in today are not necessarily what the area is known for or what people might be most familiar with.
That's right, yes. Because Rutherglen is so famous for making these fortified styles, perhaps that overshadows the fact that they can make amazing dry, white and red wines.
But that's one of the best things about Wine Selectors is that you sort of introduce new wines to audiences.
Discovery is a hallmark.
Excellent.
It's what we like to try and do.
Excellent.
So I'm going to pour you a variety called Durif, which again, perhaps not a lot of people have heard of before, but it is a variety that Rutherglen does very well.
Excellent.
And it so happens will go amazingly with this lamb. You would have heard of Shiraz before.
Absolutely, yes.
Everyone at home would have heard of it. I've got a blend of Shiraz with some Durif as well.
Why would someone choose that over the other?
Well, very much like your cooking, you're using different ingredients to bring the best out of each other, and that's what you're looking for when you're talking about blended wines as well.
I'm going to start to peel our lemons. We're going to get a beautiful marinade ready for our lamb. So we're going to put it all in the food processor, and rather than taking time to zest our lemons, I'm just going to sort of take off most of the zest in here, and we can add that along with our other ingredients, and I'm going to get Adam to blitz it all up. So working outside is all kinds of joy until you get some uninvited guests. So we're just going to tuck our lamb away here until we're ready to put the marinade on. We're going to put these shallots into the food processor.
Sure. I had a sneaking suspicion that when this was placed in front of me that I
you had a job to
use
do.
It.
And then we have some garlic, some sage and some thyme. All of those are going to go in as well. So.
I think it's the other thing worth noting is these 2 wines that I've got here today, you were talking about doing this on a barbecue, which obviously adds that char and smoky effect.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to get some caramelisation on the lamb skin when you pan fry it. And to me, when you talk about lamb, you're thinking red wine, you're thinking perhaps richer styles. And Durif is a richer, muscular, more intense style.
So it sort of enhances the meatiness of our lamb and the outdoor eating experience that we're so good at in Australia.
And it can have an earthiness to it, and I've noticed the vegetables we've got in front too will work really well.
Okay, lovely. Well, I'm going to help you put these in. And we're going to sort of chop this to a fairly fine dice, and then we'll add some oil to start to turn it into a bit of a paste so it really sticks to our lamb. So we're going to pour this marinade all over the lamb, and then we're going to make sure it's all in there. Open it up. So we've got a boneless shoulder here, but you could use leg as well. The idea is that you'd be able to flatten this out on the barbecue. So make sure that every part is in contact. They mustn't like garlic or lemons. Maybe we've solved the...
They've all gone, haven't they? There you are.
All the more for us.
Natural insect repellent right there.
So I'm going to put that aside for at least half an hour, which will allow us enough time to prepare our sauce, which is going to go on after it's cooked.
Brilliant.
So our meat has had about half an hour. You could leave it overnight if you were that well prepared. That's perfectly acceptable. So I'm going to get you to pop that in the pan while I prepare our post-marinade or our sauce.
Sure, I can do that. No problem.
So we've got it on high heat. We really want to get that initial sizzle that we sort of associate with barbecues and outdoor cooking.
Here we go. Let's hope for the sizzle.
Oh yeah, there it is.
That's good sizzle. Oh, yeah.
Then we're getting some fresh onion, which is going to be slightly pickled by the acidity in the vinegar. So we're going to dice up a tomato. So the lamb may take up to half an hour with a piece that size. So we really want to make sure that the internal temperature is at about 65 degrees. And then we'd actually let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, about half the cooking time.
And with a joint this big, obviously there's always the question when you're cooking meat, do you turn it, do you not turn it, do you only turn it once? With something this big, is there a guide to...
I think that you want to get as maximum char on that first side as possible. That's where a lot of the flavour is coming from, especially with our marinade. There's a lot of natural sugars in there, which is going to aid the caramelisation process. I tend to maybe only flip mine twice during a cooking period, which I know can upset some very active barbecuers.
Yes, absolutely. It's always that real individual thing going around to someone's place and not commenting on how they're barbecuing, isn't it?
Oh, you can really smell. So the heat has now gone through the marinade and hit the lamb. Can you smell it hitting that lamb fat, just really crisping up?
You can.
So seeds and all, because this is kind of in between a salad and a salsa, so that we can serve this really roasty, toasty warmth of that lamb with this fresh, bright, herby, acidic salad.
So is lamb one of your favourite red meats?
It's actually probably my favourite red meat.
The favourite red meat?
I really associate it with special occasions from my childhood. I think growing up on the Sunshine Coast, we're spoilt for choice with seafood. So if someone's bringing lamb, it must be a big deal. We've got some capers. I'm just going to give them a loose sort of chop. Nothing too perfect. Just want to release some of the beautiful acidity and flavours on the inside.
Yeah, brilliant.
So I've got some basil and some parsley here. Again, a bit of a loose chop.
Perfect.
But nothing that's too chunky. Sort of a similar chop to the rest of it. I've also got some fresh garlic again. So we've got not as much as it's in the marinade. Some beautiful red wine vinegar. So our salad is ready. I'm going to pop that aside. I think it's time to do the crust reveal.
The flip. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I've just got to get a good hold of it.
Good grip.
Oh, you know what? I think you should do. You're much better at this.
All of the pressure. Alrighty. So we want to get a nice big. Oh.
Wow.
You've been taking such good care of that.
Wow.
All right, so
My flipping needs to improve.
I think we've got probably another 10 to 12 minutes on this side. I've reduced the heat to half, but if you're working in a barbecue, you might just put the lid on, turn it down so that it's a much more even heat.
Yep.
After that, we're going to let it rest, and we'll cook our veggies while the lamb is resting. I hope you're as excited about this lamb as I am, but just carving through,
Sorry,
trying to
keep our excited wasps away.
They're as excited as I am.
They are.
So we've got a nice little piece of blush section through the middle here of our lamb. We've got some beautiful yogurt bread, minute bread. Pop it in there with some of our gorgeous charred veggies. And this is definitely food you can walk around and eat.
Oh, finger food.
Food, wine, happy days.
Perfect. No need for knife, fork, washing up.
Exactly.
None of that rubbish.
It's not really what outdoor cooking's about, really.
No, it's not. No, not at all. It does smell amazing.
So we've let this rest for about half of the cooking time. So if you wanted it to be a little bit less, you can.
And that's quite important, right? Letting that meat rest.
Yeah,
you
it
always
sort of
hear that.
relaxes again, and it sort of maintains all of the juices inside. I like to be able to see what we're eating, so we just display it a little bit there. And then we've got our beautiful platter so that everyone can have a bit of everything. So you grab your bread, grab a bit of meat, grab a bit of zucchini, and with our wine.
The best of Rutherglen on a plate.
Absolutely.
And in a glass. Thank you very much for having me. This looks absolutely delicious. As so the wasps are showing. Thank you once again.
Cheers.
Cheers.